Welcome back to the channel, my little piglets, the place where we dip our moist snouts into the trough of current affairs and politics. Today we talk about the bombshell news of Sunak's desperate gamble amid a Tory collapse to win the next general election. But before I continue, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to this channel, to put a trotter on the like button, and oink to your heart's content in that comment section below. And also, little piglets, there's a special message for you at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere. Now, without further ado, let's go. In a sensational twist, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has finally caved in and called an election. About time, Rishi. You've been sat there on borrowed time, completely unelected, for far too long, young man. And this pig wants to be able to put his trotter on the voting slip and get you or whoever he wants in or out. After an astonishing 575 days of squatting at number 10 Downing Street without a mandate, he's been dragged, kicking and screaming, to finally face the public. And not a moment too soon, Rishi. At last, the nation gets its way. The relief is palpable for those of us who couldn't endure another second of Westminster village journalists acting like giddy schoolchildren, speculating endlessly about election dates. Mark your calendars for July the 4th, by the way. It's a desperate Hail Mary for the Tories. Why now? Why not sooner? The Conservatives are languishing 20 points behind in the polls, a deficit so vast it's unprecedented for a sitting government to overcome. Sunak's popularity has plummeted to John Major levels. I actually quite like John Major. He's a massive fan of cricket, and I must say, this little piggy loves a bit of cricket as well. He failed to deliver on his key promise of stopping the votes. Today's dreary press conference in Downing Street was a catastrophic spectacle. It might as well have been scripted by Labour, if they could write. To top it off, someone outside was blaring Dee Ream's new Labour victory anthem. For those of you who don't know, I think that might be "Things can only get better. They can only get better." Well, I can't see how they could get any bloody worse, piglets, but pigs might fly. Sunak and his cronies seem to have concluded that their situation is so dire, they might as well rip off the plaster now. Sunak's rise to power in 2022 was meant to be the Conservative Party's lifeline, a shift from the populist, Brexit-driven energy that had once electrified it. This little piggy was sat in Bratislava when we won the 2019 election landslide, and I was very giddy sat in my Bratislavan sty watching Boris Johnson do that fantastic speech. Little did we know then that Boris Johnson's strings, and possibly his wiener, were being actually pulled by his completely insane sow, Carrie. With COVID, Ukraine, and the bizarre interlude of Liz Truss's premiership, Sunak was touted as the technocrat who would steady the ship. 18 months on, he's only proven that the so-called adults in the room are utterly clueless about what voters want and equally clueless about how to govern. Today's inflation figures were supposed to be his silver lining, yet they only highlight how disconnected he is from reality. And those are the inflation figures that when they go up, the government say they can't do anything about because they don't have any control over them, and when they come down, they go, "Oh look, what a great bloody job we've done. Oinkity oinkity oink, all the way home." Prices have skyrocketed over 20% since mid-2022. His message to the cash-strapped populace and piglets? It could be worse. That's hardly the rallying cry for an electoral comeback. And that doesn't leave the Tories' betrayal of the working class.
He's having a fucking laugh.
The Tories deserve every bit of the electoral thrashing heading their way. In 2019, they had a golden opportunity to reshape their party in the image of Britain's working class, who had just voted for Brexit and backed Boris Johnson to see it through. Instead, they reverted to their backstabbing, technocratic ways, oblivious to the new political and cultural divides. Labour, despite being mired in extreme environmentalism and gender ideology, made it easy for the Tories to present as the common-sense alternative. And yet, all the Conservatives have managed is a feeble resistance to the relentless advance of eco-austerity and identity politics. And you can blame that on the New World Liberal Democrat weirdos who've infiltrated the Conservative Party. Don't mistake the Tories' collapse for a Labour victory. Keir Starmer's project thrives on Tory failures. Outside the Westminster bubble, no one is excited about him. He seems to have no convictions beyond his ambition to be Prime Minister. The recent local elections, showed a demoralised electorate, with Labour's supposed triumph in the Blackpool South by-election hiding a historically low turnout. This general election is likely to be equally lifeless. Voters are disillusioned with the Tories, but few believe that Labour is going to bring any real change. Yet there is much to fear from Labour. Their metropolitan, upper-middle-class base is fully committed to the worst ideas of our time. plans to decarbonise the electricity grid by 2030, introducing an Identitarian Race Equality Act, and revive gender self-ID are just the tip of the iceberg. Labour is eager to implement any divisive, elitist policy they can think of. Voters may struggle to see much difference given the Tories' tepid opposition to greenism and wokeism, and the many zealots within their own ranks. But let us return to the sty of Downing Street. Now is the moment for Britain to choose its future, proclaimed a rain-drenched Rishi Sunak. But does any piglet really believe that? Do even he and his own party? We're staring down another electoral cycle where nothing substantial is at stake beyond the fortunes of the two main parties. Big ideas are anathema to politics these days, and the aspirations of ordinary people for a more democratic way of life are ignored. Still, any chance to shake up the electoral snow globe should be seized. Let's send a clear message to our pathetic, piglety political class, whether through protest votes, spoiled ballots, or simply staying home. The people of Britain are desperate for real change, for visionary leadership in these dangerous times. We await a party, a movement, a politician capable of delivering a genuine alternative. So then, my little piglets, bring on the bun bath. Who do you think you'll vote for? A protest with the Reform Party? Sticking with the status quo at the Conservative Party? Or giving Labour's Keir Starmer a go? Or perhaps you're completely insane and you're going to vote Green Party. Now then, my little piglets, a special message for you. We don't think we've got a hope in hell of being monetised by YouTube, and I think you little piglets out there will know why. It's obvious. We say things that go against the grain. But hiring pigsty studios like the one that we're in here costs fat pig views money. And we're going to need your help moving forward to continue bringing our fantastic, piggy lovely views to you every day or so. You can help us by clicking a trotter and going over to our locals community and offering us a small donation every month to help us keep the sty in order. If you can't do that, then put a trotter on the subscribe, a trotter on the like, and oink to your heart's content in the comment section below.